The freshest, tastiest ingredients and delicious food, that's what you get when you cook seasonally. Whether you grow them yourself or pick up what's on sale at the market, you get to build a closer connection with nature's rhythms. And by putting some home-cooked food on the table, you have a chance to connect with your loved ones while sharing a healthy meal. So if you're new to seasonal cooking, I have some tips to get you started and a few recipes to share. So let's put on our apron and head into the kitchen. I'm SB, and this is SB Living. First, start simple. Simple recipes. Produce that's in season is the freshest, which means they don't need a lot of fancy cooking. Look for recipes that use just a few ingredients and don't require a lot of prep work, like roasted vegetables or simple salads. This will help you get a feel for the flavors of different seasonal produce without getting overwhelmed. To show you what I mean, let me take you through how I'm preparing these eggplants. These eggplants came from my garden, and I'm pretty impressed with how my plants have been performing this year. In the past, I have only gotten 2, maybe 3 from each plant, and so far, I'm picking off an eggplant every day or so. These in particular have been waiting to be cooked for a bit longer than usual, so they'll be part of our dinner tonight. I keep a bottle of olive oil ready to go whenever I cook up eggplants, since they absorb so much. I know it's a lot, but I happily drizzle it on over and over again. I cook them up in batches so each one gets to this beautiful deep golden brown color. I snip some fresh parsley right on top. I think mint would also work really well here. And I love to have each of these with some flatbread. Just wrap up a little eggplant in a bundle. I like to add some tomato too, and pop it right in your mouth. A simple meal directly from what Mother Nature gave us. Next, plan your meals around what's in season. It's like meal planning, but in reverse. I mean, do you meal plan? Sometimes not everything goes as you planned. So instead of going through cookbooks or Pinterest, figuring out what would be cool to cook this week, go to the store first. Get in your garden. Go to a farmer's market. Look at the circulars. Remember what season you're in. If it's summer, like it is now in my area, there are so many fresh vegetables and greens. So what does that mean? That means salads, soups, putting them on the grill, tossing them in a pan real quick with some oil, fresh herbs, and serving it with a chunk of bread and maybe some grilled chicken. Easy. So don't let your planner tell you what to cook. Let the seasons and your local market tell you. Let the weather tell you, and I promise that shift is the easiest way to start cooking seasonally. It's budget friendly, nature friendly, and takes a lot of guesswork out of what to cook. This next recipe is both simple and easy. A chicken and sweet potato sheet pan with a side of green beans. You can't get any simpler than that, and the potatoes are a mix of my small potato harvest and the sweet potatoes I found at the market. I've made a lot of sheet pan dinners, and I'll fill you in on some things I've learned. First, cut the vegetables all in similar size so they cook more evenly. The smaller, the quicker they cook. You'll see that I'm only using salt, pepper, and olive oil here, and that's pretty perfect since I'm cooking potatoes that have literally just been harvested, and they don't need much, except for some rosemary, but that doesn't count. I have also learned that not everything needs to go into the oven all at once. For example, you'll see that I'll be popping those potatoes in the oven first before layering these chicken breasts on top. Still using one sheet pan, but just staggering the ingredients over time so everything is cooked the way they should be. While the potatoes are cooking and the chicken is marinating a bit, these Italian green beans are next, and just like these potatoes, they don't need much. One of the best ways to enjoy these kinds of beans is to simply steam them in a pan with a little water. You add some salt, and in 10 minutes or so you have tender beans to go along with the potatoes. The chicken is ready to go on top, and now it's only a matter of minutes before everything is on the table. The green beans only need some fresh salt, pepper, olive oil, and a good squeeze of lemon. And that's it. The flavor on its own is just delicious. A bonus for cooking seasonally and simply is the experience you can give to growing children. If you have kids, you know the temptation of getting something quick on the table that you don't have to cook. We've all been there, but more often than not, filling them in on what they're eating, why you're cooking it, even having them help with the cooking itself, it all goes a long way for helping them understand, taste, and enjoy different kinds of foods throughout the year. Experiment and try new things. It can be boring to eat the same things the same ways all the time. What do I mean? Like what I just made, sweet potatoes. How do most people cook sweet potatoes? You bake them or you roast them, right? They taste good, but there's so much more you can do with them. Like this sweet potato mash I made earlier in the spring. I just added some maple syrup, topped it with some chives, and the flavor was phenomenal. I'm going to use the same idea for those green beans you saw earlier. You see, the thing about eating seasonally is that you often have an abundance of one vegetable, more than what you know what to do with. You can preserve most, or you can try to cook it in different ways. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm adding them to my usual homemade tomato sauce. It's a trick I learned from my grandmother, actually, because tomato sauce is actually a base for so many other kinds of additions. The flavor will be different each time. Tutto rosso tomatoes are my favorite tomatoes. If you watched my other videos before, you probably know this already. I like to add different textures of canned tomatoes to my sauce just to make it interesting. And for this recipe, it's 1 can of crushed tomatoes and 1 can of peeled plum tomatoes. I do break down the plum tomatoes, and I love using these pair of scissors to do it. It's an herb scissor used to snip herbs directly over dishes, but it works just as well with the tomatoes. So now all that is needed is to pop a lid on top and let it simmer. If you are home that day that you're making this, feel free to let it simmer all afternoon. The longer it simmers, the better the sauce. It's absolutely true. A sauce like this needs some layering with the pasta, both on the bottom, on top, and adding in between tosses. Fresh parsley will always go on top of this as well. And that's dinner. This is a wonderful way to use up all that good produce and know that you're eating exactly what was meant to be enjoyed. Fresh is always best. More seasonal cooking videos are coming your way soon, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss them. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.